I think in 10 years we'll reasonably be in 7 figures, $1 million Bitcoin. We're going to actually see a reversal. I would predict you'll see first in the US a reversal of nuclear power policy. We'll start building nuclear power plants again, and I would then guess probably in Germany at some point they'll come to their senses and do the same thing.
Yeah, I hope so.
And the reason they'll do it is not because of humanitarians saying it's cheap energy and it's better. They'll do it because Microsoft and Apple will tell them to do it.
In a recent interview with Michael Saylor on Bitcoin Magazine, we delve into Bitcoin's current position, political perspectives on its future, and issues related to energy and centralization. Bitcoin is trading around $63,000, showing a 1% decline over the past 24 hours but a 2% increase over the week. Saylor emphasizes that Bitcoin is more than just a currency. It's a revolutionary concept that redefines our approach to money. He distinguishes between money as economic energy and currency as a means of transferring that energy, noting that fiat currencies tend to erode value over time. Saylor envisions Bitcoin evolving into a $250 trillion ecosystem, capable of monetizing various assets without posing a threat to any nation-state. Before we continue with the rest of the video, do check out Daily 5-Minute Crypto newsletter with all the latest crypto and Bitcoin news. It's a fantastic analysis of on-chain crypto data and breakdowns, and the best part is it's absolutely free. They'll cover expert predictions, breakdowns of on-chain crypto data, and any breaking news you need to know, all in a nutshell. Click the first link in the description and enter your email to join over 50,000 others in becoming a better crypto investor right now.
I think Bitcoin is technology and it's digital capital, and I think there's a transformation of capital from analog to digital, and I think that every company, every government, every investor, every technologist will look at that, and people will embrace it at whatever rate they want to embrace it. Like, let's take the internet, for example. Did the internet change politics in the last 30 years? I mean, if you look at the development of the European Union, what was the role of the internet? Or if you look at the development in China and Russia and the crises, and what was the role of the internet? If you look at everything that happened in South America in the last 30 years, what was the role of the internet? I mean, the internet spread everywhere. It's gone everywhere on Earth. It's changed everything, but you still have economic conflict, political conflict, military conflict. You have evolution in society, and the internet just keeps spreading. So I think Bitcoin's going to spread like digital capital. I don't think you need any cataclysmic event for it to spread. I think it's just a better idea. Like it would spread regardless of whether there was a conflict. And you know, conflict, chaos, hyperinflation will accelerate the spread. But you know, if Apple Computer builds the Bitcoin into the iPhone, it's going to spread because Apple built Bitcoin into the iPhone. And why will they build it in the iPhone? Because they'll make hundreds of billions of dollars if they build it in the iPhone. Why wouldn't they want to make billions and billions of dollars? So people will do it because they can do it. And countries will adopt it at whatever rate, and investors will adopt it at whatever rate they will. It's just a better idea. It's digital capital, just like digital information. This is digital capital. It's going to permeate society. What I'd say is Bitcoin, it doesn't solve all the problems in the world. It just solves half. It's the half where you need economic power or wealth to do anything, right? Who wants power? Everybody wants power. Who doesn't want power? Right? What are you going to do with the power? Well, everybody has a difference of opinion on what they're going to do with it, but I think everybody can agree they would like more economic power, not less economic power. And the world seems very simple to me. It's like there's $900 trillion of wealth measured in dollars. The dollar will continue to expand 7 to 10% a year. That means in 7 to 10 years, there'll be twice as much of that. If Bitcoin, you know, goes by a factor of 10 or a factor of 15, so it'll go from 1.3 trillion to 20 trillion, it could be 1% of the wealth of the world and be $1 million a coin, and the world will be whatever it's doing. All right, so I'm not really I'm not of the opinion that there needs to be some catastrophe or there'll be some major, world
event
order change. I think that this is just good technology. It's going to spread just like mobile phones spread.
Having just heard Michael Saylor discuss Bitcoin's current position, let's now explore his views on the energy dynamics surrounding Bitcoin. Saylor highlights that Bitcoin is more than just a currency. It represents a revolutionary shift in our understanding of money and energy. He describes Bitcoin as digital energy with the capability to store and transfer economic value efficiently. While Bitcoin mining is often criticized for its energy consumption, Saylor argues it actually drives innovation and sustainable energy production. He points out that major tech companies like Microsoft and Apple are purchasing large amounts of energy for different purposes, similar to Bitcoin miners. Saylor contends that Bitcoin is one of the cleanest and most efficient uses of energy globally, as it incentivizes the development of renewable energy sources and makes use of excess energy that would otherwise go to waste. Now, let's hear more from Michael Saylor on Bitcoin Magazine.
Yeah, I would say the principle of paradigm shift is people only adopt a new paradigm in war or in death.
Yeah.
So you either have to, all the old guard has to die, right? Teenagers and 20-somethings, they're at the beginning of their life, right? What do you want? You want fame, you want fortune, you want respect, you want a family, you want a girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
You have none of those things. You have no assets.
True.
Therefore, you have nothing to lose, everything to gain. And someone presents you with the idea of YouTube or a mobile phone or Bitcoin or electric guitar, right? Whatever it is, and you embrace it, right? The new paradigm. When you're 75 years old, you've already had the family.
The respect.
You've already got the respect. You've already got the money. You don't need to prove anything. Maybe you've already messed up your life. Maybe you haven't. But the point really is you have the most to lose, the least amount of time, the lowest amount of neuroplasticity, the least to gain. You're the most resistant to new ideas.
Yeah.
So youth will adopt a new idea. Seniors will reject the new idea. The exception of that is in a war, when you reject air power and then the enemy drops bombs on your city and blows up your headquarters, and you look up, then you realize that your thesis was incorrect. If you have cavalry and they have tanks, then you realize the thesis was incorrect, right? So in wartime, when you have massive trauma, people all think they're going to fight the next war with the weapons from the last war, and when the next war comes along and there's 87,000 robot drone swarming wasp things to come through your window, you'll realize that all the stuff you had from 1990 that you were going to fight with is useless.
Yeah.
Right? So that'll be a paradigm shift. And I think that COVID was like the paradigm shift. But it doesn't catalyze everybody, because a lot of people didn't lose everything in COVID. Only some people lost everything in COVID. Some people gained.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's a catalyst. Chaos will continue to be a catalyst. But there's a tipping point, right, with these things. There's a point when something flips from being out of consensus, right, strange, terrifying, to being absolutely normal, to then being essential. And I think if you look in the history of technology, look at the photos of New York City in 1905 versus 1915. And somehow people went from horses on the streets and carriage to automobiles.
Yeah.
And there was a state change, and everybody was against it before they were for it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things like that in the history of technology, whether it's electricity or whether it's automobiles or whether it's mobile phones, where it's just, people are against, and then all of a sudden they just flip, and it happens in a hurry when it happens. Yeah, I think that the world is changing at a more rapid rate. I think the next 10 years are, are a very rapid transformation along at least two dimensions that I'm familiar with. There may be more than two that I am not familiar with, but the two I'm familiar with would be digital money and digital intelligence.
Yeah.
And it's pretty clear that there's hundreds of trillions of dollars of capital, which is analog money. And as people start to transform the analog to the digital, you're going to see profound disruptions in business models and financial applications and financial institutions. And, a lot of things people took for granted for the last 30 years, they'll just throw out the window and say, what? Like if I run a survey on Twitter right now and I ask you how many of you are going to, invest in Bitcoin versus equities versus gold versus something else, I think like 3% of the people say equity. If you roll the clock back 20 years, it's like, like 3%, right? So there are certain things where people just don't think that way anymore.
It's a transition.
And I think with intelligence, the AIs didn't work until they started working. And I guess they started working last year. And we're either maybe we're year two. We're year one or year two. I think we're year one of adoption of digital money, and I think maybe we're year two of adoption of digital intelligence. And I think they're going to spread like wildfire. And if you had to trace catalytic events, I would say the catalytic event for digital intelligence was the success of ChatGPT 4.0. When it went from 0 to 100 million users. In a month or something.
What? Yeah.
And that was after 40 years of trying and 40 years of garbage. like people use Siri or Alexa to pick their playlist. Pick out a song. Right? That's the only app people can come up with. And then all of a sudden this thing is composing, perfect, Shakespearean poetry or, whatever it is. And it's like not bad. So I think that kind of caused people to wake up, and that caused Microsoft to wake up. And of course, the capital markets react with NVIDIA stock and Microsoft and the like. And the hyperscalers are going to build 60 gigawatts of data centers a year, and they want 600 gigawatts. Like that's like all the electricity in the world. Like
crazy.
It's so powerful, right? That digital intelligence move is so powerful that it has flipped all of the big tech companies to buy up all the electricity in Europe and the US, but it's also caused them to flip and become pro-nuclear power.
Michael Saylor offers a compelling analysis of Bitcoin as a form of digital energy and its effects on the global energy landscape. He argues that Bitcoin represents the cleanest and most efficient use of energy available today, and highlights its role in driving innovation and sustainable energy production. We'd love to hear your thoughts on a few questions. How do you think Bitcoin's energy consumption will influence the future of renewable energy development? What role do you believe Bitcoin could play in optimizing global energy distribution and usage? For more Daily Dose Crypto news, check out these two awesome videos on your screen. Click now and we will see you on the next video.